Hello and welcome to the 10-Minute Project Fix. My name is Gary Wills, I'm your host, and I'm also the founder of a recruitment company called Talent Today that is fast-tracking the recruitment process for the project delivery world. In each episode, we'll be discussing all things project delivery, and we'll be speaking to the very best project leaders and CIOs in the marketplace that have been there, done it, got the t-shirt, and got a lot of war wounds along the way. If you like what you hear from the podcast, please hit the like button, please subscribe to the channel, and please share or add a comment.
Today, we are joined by Avtar Bains, who is an experienced senior project manager who's worked for some of the biggest brands out there, including Savills, OneCom, and 3i. Avtar, how are you?
I'm good, Gary. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad at all. Are you excited for this to try and deliver a project within 10 minutes?
I'll give it a go.
Good man, good man. Well, right, Avtar, we've literally got 10 minutes. I'm going to get the timer on, and then we're going to have 60 seconds, just a bit of fun, quick fire questions. Are you ready to give it a go?
Yep, go for it.
Okay, all right. So, timer is on. What would you say is your top 3 tips that you would give somebody to ensure that the project has the best chance of success?
Sure. I think the first one is identify all your stakeholders and work out their influence on the project and their invested time in the project. I think that's really crucial. The stakeholder analysis and stakeholder management throughout the project is absolutely critical because that builds your comms and how you handle comms and communication to them. The second bit is getting your governance correct at the beginning. So getting your steering committee set up, getting your project management group set up, getting your RAID set up, getting all the good governance. That's your foundations of a project. That's your building blocks. And then you build your project on top. If you don't have the foundation set up, crumbling house of cards, it collapses. So I'd say that's absolutely critical. And I think the third thing is making sure your plans are up to date all the time and your RAIDs and documentation. Keeping your plan up to date, communicating your plan, managing the risks and issues, and attacking the risks. Don't just log them. Lots of project managers just log risks, but actually you need to manage the risks through so they don't become issues. They're my 3 top tips.
Excellent, brilliant, very concise as well. I love it. What is the first thing that comes to mind when you are trying to mitigate risk?
The first thing that comes to mind is make sure you've got the right people in the room to help you mitigate that risk and agree whether you're going to accept the risk, whether you're going to transfer it, whether you're going to reduce it, and apply the right type of metrics you're going to do. You have to make sure that you've got the right actionee and the right owner. It can be 2 separate people. So somebody may own the risk, but the actionee on that risk can be somebody within the team. So getting the right people, the right owners, the right action on that risk, and ensuring the risks are updated on a regular basis, and also that you get your likelihood and impact correct. So you actually need to agree that with people. So what's the likelihood of that risk happening? And what's the impact should it occur? And therefore, then you can focus on large projects. You may have 50 or 60 risks. By ensuring that you've got the right RAG status on those, you can focus on those top risks.
Brilliant. Okay. And when you're we're trying to keep the project now on track, and obviously we've got stakeholders involved that can sometimes be sometimes high maintenance, quite hard work, quite demanding. What's your stakeholder management approach? What has worked for you?
Well, there's different approaches. So there's different types of stakeholders. So senior stakeholders, you need to make sure you're giving them the right level of information. They don't need all the detail. They want top level information. So ensure that you communicate correctly to those stakeholders. Whereas if you're working with a number of technical people in the team, they're also stakeholders. They want to have interesting conversation around the technical solution. So invest and understand the solution. Don't just be a project manager on the outside of it. Get invested, get involved in the technical solution. Try and understand it. Obviously, you're not a techie yourself, but the more that you can learn about the technical solution, if it's an infrastructure project, the more invested they're going to be and help you in terms of that delivery. So yeah, it's understanding those stakeholders and having those various conversations with them.
And when you've like hit a project a problem, or you've inherited a project which is very, let's say there's multiple issues with it, and you coming to the end of the day, how does it make you feel when something's not going to plan?
So would that be on an inherited project, so something that's
Yeah,
failing?
you've inherited, or
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what, you're working on a project and it's
yeah,
failing.
yeah. Firstly, you should be quite excited if you've inherited a project that's failing because you've got an opportunity to turn it around. So you should go in there with a level of, I've got this, I can turn this around and get people back on track, get them happy. Secondly, you need to understand why it's failing. So is it lack of sponsorship? That's quite often on projects that I've worked on where there's lack of clarity of ownership and accountability, or poor sponsorship. So you need to then invest time in people and getting accountability. So the way to do that is you can build a RACI, so who's accountable, who's responsible for various parts of the project, and get people invested time into that and getting them to own things. Right? So it's normally lack of ownership or accountability that causes projects to fail. My experience.
Have you, with the world of like cyber breaches and things like that, have you worked on projects recently at all where there's been anything which has been an absolute curveball for you, where there's been a massive sort of breach or issue?
Not cyber breach or issue, but I've worked on projects where um, things have come out the woodwork quite late in terms of business processes that you've done your process mapping, your as is processes, you're then developing your 2B and the design, and then suddenly somebody pipes up and says, oh, but yeah, we do this way, or this, no, that's not how we do it. So you end up having to go back to the drawing board. But the important thing is you do your lessons learned. So you do
Yeah,
your lessons learned on that. Why did it happen? Was it a lack of stakeholder engagement? Was it a lack of understanding? And then you learn from it, and then you ensure that doesn't happen again.
brilliant. Okay, and then we come into the you absolutely smashing it, I've got to say, Avtar, for
Yeah,
time. It looks like you're going to deliver the project on time.
that's always a
Um,
good one.
yeah. So we're coming to the solution. What steps do you put in place to get your project back on track and delivered on time?
So getting it back on track, you need to replan, rebaseline. So obviously you find out the issues, what's the problem, what's caused it to slip. So is it lack of detail in the plan? Is it lack of resourcing? Is it lack of funding? Is it lack of stakeholder engagement? Poor sponsorship? So once you've got those issues resolved, because they're project issues effectively, and then you have to rebaseline your plan because your plan is off track. So you replan, you rebaseline, you recommunicate the new dates, and then you go forward from there.
Brilliant. Okay. And when you have delivered that project, do you celebrate? What,
Well,
all
you
these.
should do. Yeah, sense of achievement. So internally, there's a great buzz. I personally get a huge buzz out of delivery and seeing that end goal, mainly because the business are then seeing the benefits. So whether it's a technical risk project where you have to upgrade things to bring the business to reduce the risk to the business, i.e., a security project, or whether it's functionality changes to business finance systems, is a great buzz once you deliver that change. When I worked at 3i, we used to celebrate every project, be it going and driving Ferraris around Silverstone, or
Wow.
jousting at Warwick Castle. It was a company that was quite cash rich at the time, so they would celebrate and make sure the project managers and the project team were showing their worth and their value to the organisation. And I think that's not done as much now.
Yeah.
Going to the pub and having a few pints afterwards isn't quite the same as enjoying the success of project delivery. I have to say, on a large project I was delivering, it spanned 3 years. A lot of it during COVID. We sent out care packs to the project team.
Love it.
We did 50 care packs, which included some gin, chocolates, and other bits and bobs. And we sent that to the entire team to keep them, say thank you for your effort, but also motivate them going forward.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
I speak to so many project managers, and it's just so so easy just to move to the next assignment and just
absolutely. Yeah.
not actually
The
realize
human
what.
side of it and the value that people are adding is so important, and you need to celebrate that.
Absolutely. Well, right, we've hit the project deadline. You've done it in 8 minutes 16. That was
Never
brilliant. I love
early,
it. Actually,
always a
very
good one.
really concise. Loved
Yeah.
it. But great detail in there. And now we're gonna have just a little bit of fun. We've got 60 seconds. Nobody has got through all of the questions yet. Somebody's come very close,
Okay.
but right, I'm gonna hit the start button and yeah. Right. Best bit of software.
Clarity for project management tool that I used.
Best bit of hardware.
Cisco networks.
Best lesson learned.
Oh, best lesson learned. Don't be afraid of senior stakeholders. They're only humans.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Jam or Marmite?
Jam.
Who inspires you?
Unai Emery, recently met him and he inspires confidence. Absolutely. What a man.
Love it. Up the Villa. Who frustrates you?
People that say it's not my job.
Yeah. How do you keep mentally focused?
I meditate daily.
Your favourite sport or team?
Aston Villa.
Good man. We've got one. We're nearly at the end. Tell them how to do it or find the way together.
Find a way together.
We're out of time.
Brilliant. Not bad.
Not bad. We got 3/4 of the way there. I have got a few questions, so I'll ask you them anyway. Work from home or in the office?
Blended, but love working in the office. Yeah.
Same.
That osmosis, that camaraderie, that standing by a coffee machine, having a quick chat with somebody, building relationships. You can't get that over Teams.
Absolutely. If you could have dinner with just one person, who is it?
John McGinn.
John McGinn.
He's humble, he's funny, and he's a great character. I can learn lots off him.
He is, to be fair. Favorite brand?
Oh, favorite brand, Panasonic.
Panasonic. Why? Just grew up.
They're the best TVs out there.
Do you think? Yeah.
Yeah.
Samsung guy.
No, my Samsung in the kitchen's got a line on it already.
Oh dear. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Podcast or music?
Both.
Both.
Meditation, podcasts, and I love music.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Ideal retreat?
Thailand, Krabi.
Lovely. I've been there. It's an amazing place.
Gorgeous.
Awesome. Well, I've got to say, Avtar, thank you so much for coming on the 10-minute project fix. I've really enjoyed having you on. And yeah, please look forward to the next episode. Thanks, Avtar. Really appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure, Gary. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.